Hello, our visionary entrepreneurs and life changers. How are you? Wow, today is Monday again, Momentum Monday, and today is our 69th episode. I'm super happy that we are back here, and every week since the first day of this week, Monday, we are starting with a great momentum, and especially we start with questions because questions can really help us to get grounded and also really connect us with the most essential tasks and also the quests of our life. I hope today will always bring you some important questions for you to think. And instead of just get into those busy tasks, a long list of things right every day, but here today will really help you to get out of the busyness and really think on the top of it and be the owner and be the master of your business. And today's question is asking how to be influential as just like Tony Robbins. I don't know if you can actually replace Tony Robbins' name with other, but basically Tony Robbins is my role model. But today my question to you is, who are your most admired role models in the current world who are still alive? Maybe some of you will be answering, oh, maybe I do not have any role models. I hope that's not the answer, okay? I hope you could at least find one person that you really admire and who has already achieved what you want to achieve and who can really be just like a pioneer in front of you and give you shed some light for the road in front of you. So that you will feel like really blessed that you could see the hope of your vision and dreams and see what is possible. But just in case, some of you maybe say, I do not have any great role models. Okay, so then today's number one question to you is, could you really recollect with yourself to say how could you increase more gratitude in the life and find more things you could feel grateful? And especially find someone who could inspire you and even empower you that you feel so grateful. And or maybe if you love to read books, that will be another great space to start, because there are so many. Actually, I found so many, right, countless great books, not just from our previous generations and people already passed. Of course, we have all those great wisdoms, right, accumulated through our human beings history. And I feel so blessed that we have so many great books to read. But also there are so many inspirational, like personal development, empowering books and help self-development, also personal education. There are different names, but it's all for helping us to grow as a being. So I hope you could find at least a few books that could inspire you and find those authors that you feel like what they speak really resonate with you. So that's a simple place to start to find some of your role models. Maybe you do not fully admire of their journey, but at least if their book, one of their books, inspired you, that's a great place to start and find someone who, at least if you could write someday such kind of book to inspire other people like that book inspired you, right? That would be great. So simply today, I just want to use Tony Robbins as an example. You do not necessarily need to admire him, right? I know he has some people, he had millions of followers in the world, but at the same time, he also maybe have some enemies, or maybe have some people do not fully follow him, or maybe do not fully agree with him. I know that my kid's dad, that's very interesting. I invited him to Tony Robbins' live event, Unleash Your Power Within. He's definitely not one of Tony's fans at all. He would say, oh, that's he's not totally into a personal development industry, even coaching. He's not a fan, right? So he's not not my fan. And he would say, oh, that's too much woo-woo stuff. Some people, he's a lawyer, very realistic person, rational person. I've just found people like that kind do not admire Tony at all. They maybe say, oh, he's like a Hitler. He's sort of, whatever. So doesn't matter. You can choose whoever is your role model to start. Okay, today's first question: who are your role models, and maybe at least choose at least one. Okay, even you can choose your parents. If you have someone like your parents, or someone who you really respect and who inspired you want to as at least some one aspect inspire you, and you could learn from them. Okay, so that's a great place to start as well. And that's the first question. So first is just humble self. Find someone we admire, either it's your parents or maybe your great friends, or maybe it's better some elder that you respect, either from a church or from other organization, or some inspirational speaker or great author. Okay, so first, that's the first step. Choose someone you admire, that you would at least they have one character or one quality that you think can inspire you, or someday you want to achieve at that level. Okay, so and then the second question, what kind of influence do you want? Because today we are talking about influence. I just found often people replace these two words, influence or impact, together. I just feel like I was reflecting on some nuance, some tiny difference between them. Even though it's good, you can use them to replace each other, but I still find there's some difference. Influence, I just found influence is really you have that kind of impact to help people to maybe have some change in their thinking or in their emotion that could positively help them change the ways they live in their life. So I think that is quite of influence. Influence, eventually you make people to make some changes, and especially it's positive changes. Of course, sometimes there could be negative influence, right? We do not want that, and today we focus on the positive one. And impact, I found it's from the scale. If you say it's from scale, influence is more from a personal level, from an individual level. Of course, you could have a different understanding. It's totally fine, okay, up to you. But I here just want to differentiate a little bit of my understanding to help people better use these two words. And impact is, I feel like it's more from the scale. It's a bigger scope. For example, you can say somebody make a big impact to millions of people. You can say Tony Robbins has an impact to millions of people in his community, right? Hundreds of thousands of people. He has that kind of level of impact. But influence is more from the individual level, and how that change people's thinking, people's feeling, and people make changes in their life or in their businesses. Okay, so just a little of differentiation, but you can definitely either one is totally fine. When you use that word, either impact or influence, people do understand, right? They understand that it's just you have that power to make changes in other people's lives, either in an individual level or in a big scale. Okay, so it doesn't matter of the specific definition, but the more important is what kind of influence you want. It's an ultimate result. What kind of result you want? I personally admire Tony Robbins because I experienced so many mentors. Actually, so many, I would call more of them are coaches instead of mentors. More are coaches, more are strategists. More people are they help us on different aspects. They have their expertise, right? People, they either teach you your mindset, strategies, practice, specific tools, or specific kind of either system or process, or different kind of coaching way. But I just found a few of them I really call them as a mentor. Because mentor, I feel the real mentor, they need to have that kind of integrity first. I believe they have that integrity that you respect and you admire. And that is the integrity they show, not just in front of people, but as who they are when they are by themselves. And they can really let you understand consistently. They're consistent showing such kind of integrity and characteristics and personalities, and especially that kind of values to contribute to people consistently. I would say Tony is really one of the great mentors that is showing this for over 45 years. 45 years. Keep doing the same thing on the same, I would say not the same thing, but it's like really on the same goal. Since he was just 17 years old, he started learn from Jim Rohn, and that's a great like old mentor as well. And now he's passed away, but he really followed him and learned from all his teaching. He's the best student of Jim Rohn. And he mentioned that whenever he's attending Jim Rohn's events, webinars, right, many times live events, and he was the best student, keep writing, taking the notes, and he's the last one to leave the site, because he would keep reflecting, keep thinking about what he learned, and he would just not stay, like leave from the site without making some changes. So that's one of his famous saying, that never leave the site of inspiration without taking an action. And that's a great practice, actually. We have, I believe you've already been attending so many webinars and trainings, and maybe you learned so many great inspirations, right? But how many of that you really carried on to really reflect it and then implement it immediately and turn that into what you own? So I found this is one of his best teachings, and I've already been practicing as well. So that's why today's topic is how to be influential, just like Tony Robbins, because this is just exactly the content and also the inspirations and strategies I just learned from his mastery group. I attended his mastery bundle, ultimate mastery program two years ago, and also attended his coaching academy and graduated. So I've since then been learning directly, through all his live events. I attended all of them, and now in his mastery group, I've been learning weekly those great strategies from him. So that's why I want to implement immediately, and the best way of implementing or like learning is really by sharing and teaching. So I hope you get this. Once whatever you just learned, if you really want to turn those great things into what you own, the best way is really start to reflect, add your inspiration in insights, and add extra value from you, right? And then share and teach. So that's the best way. Okay, and now we're talking about what kind of influence you desire to make. I would encourage you comment under the video, to write and to share. Actually, this is the best way for you to sort out your thoughts, and then when you share with the world at the same time, like you're teaching, right? You share and you teach, and that's the best way for you to get the best knowledge and wisdom, and then you at the same time you teach, and that becomes even deepened and strengthened into yourself. Okay, so while you are thinking and also writing, maybe comment under the video, let us know what kind of influence you want to have. So me personally, every morning I've been doing the abundance meditation, and there's really the big distraction at my back in the kitchen. Okay, anyway, I will focus on every morning I've been doing the abundance meditation, and I use the incantation way Tony taught me. The incantation, that's another part of my practice. Okay, whatever you really get inspired, the great ways you implement right away, and consistent practice and implement it until it's become yours, and even you upgrade or maybe uplift it to another level. And now I get my level, my abundance meditation and activation, and I would say it's even beyond what Tony taught me. And he has been teaching like priming every morning, doing the priming, right? And many people are practicing it, millions of people are practicing it, but I've already upgraded to another level. I call it abundance meditation, and activation is totally at another level. Okay, so part of that practice is the incantation, and every morning I've already designed, or I've been practicing years, every day. It's like thousands of days already. So, and it's different. In that incantation, I just shout out my vision, what I want to visualize and also like fulfill in my life. I put that in my incantation, also into my visualization. So that is really vivid. Every day I'm already living it through my incantation, through my saying, through my thinking, And through my visualization, through my spirituality, everything, like my prayer, meditation is already part of me. So that's some like when I'm talking about what kind of influence you want to make, I would like you to now visualize in that vision, in your ultimate vision, what you want to fulfill, what you would be doing. Thinking about at least like 10 years or 20 years later, what you would be doing. Who would you be? That's the most important question, right? Who you would be 10 years, 20 years, or ultimately, before your life ends, what kind of person you want to become, and what kind of things you would be doing. I would like to really take like a few minutes while I'm talking, so you can close your eyes and get yourself into that kind of a scenario. You are living now, 10 years later, 20 years later, and I hope the noise in the kitchen will not bring me back. Okay, I'm trying to focus on my future and visualize that what I'm doing, what I've been fully enjoy doing. And in your ultimate vision, right, I know that I would be speaking to millions of people. And even though I know English is still not my best, second language is still not my best language, yeah. But I would visualize myself speaking in either English and also Chinese, that's my mother language, to millions of people, to inspire them, empower them. So, and some, just like that kind of atmosphere is a little bit like Unleash Your Power Within, if you attended that, or maybe like Date with Destiny, that kind of a live event, right? Hundreds of thousands of people are so inspired and empowered, and it could be like yelling and out of joys, right? And maybe crying also out of joys, and get so inspired, so empowered, and so fulfilled that they are so like touched, and same touched. Yeah, that's part I would like. Touched, not just being like a Grant Cardone, right? If you listen to Grant Cardone, he's another good guy, like very successful, but I would call him more like a marketer instead of a mentor, at least to me. Okay, I know there are quite some Grant Cardone fans. I don't care, but you guys could admire him as you want. He make them like billions of dollars, and he's so good at marketing and sales, but he just could not touch my heart. Okay, I was inspired by his strategies, but I never cry, I never was touched. Just my heart was not touched, right? My mind was inspired. There are so many great teachers and coaches there, marketers there. They can really inspire you with their strategies, with their practice, and your mind gets super empowered and inspired. But I would say I want my future influence, including that touching part. The heart was touched, and everyone who was listening to my messages, their mind will not just be inspired and empowered, but their heart will be touched. And more importantly, their souls are touched. Their souls are transformed. Their souls are empowered and wakened up, and they are connected to their genuine call, their ultimate call from God, from our Creator. Doesn't matter what you believe in, it's just your call, your purpose. I hope you at least believe in, you do not need to necessarily believe in God, right? But I hope you believe in that you have the purpose, a unique, specific purpose called here to fulfill. And that's good enough. So that's what I want in my influence. That's in my vision, what kind of an impact or influence I want to generate in this world. So I hope this help inspire you, okay, to really get into that kind of meditation and get into the future, to imagine what influence you truly want to have in this world. Okay, so, and then really live it, get into it every day into a practice. I hope you could practice like abundance meditation as well. If you're really interested in learning that, inquire under the video. I may share with you. Okay, I do have the program about that, but today initially I was not intended to share that. But if you're interested, comment, let me know. Okay, it's called abundance meditation and activation. That every day get you into that practice and live your vision every day. Invite that visualization, get into that situation, and also live it and vividly feel it. You could see that in your visualization eyes, and also feel what you would be feeling during that. While I was sharing with that, I was super like bumped. I was really excited about that vision. I can't, I felt so joyful, so blessed, so happy about that vision when I could really influence people, touching them from their mind to their heart to their soul. That kind of influence, and millions of them, that kind of scale. Okay, so that's my vision. I hope you also can get that kind of a level of level of imagination and visualization, that you feel so energetic, unstoppable, joyful, feel blessed. Okay, then you are truly connected with your true calling. Okay, true purpose. Okay, now next one, we have so much to share with you. Okay, I really want to share not just strategies. I really hope this can inspire you today. So last question is like how to become, right? It's great to know what kind of influence you want to make, but now it's really how to become influential, just like your most admired role model. Okay, so first, I hope you already found your best role model. You could have multiple, but I would say focus one. Okay, find one at least that inspire you the most. Focus on that person and really get into in-depth learning, research, and like Tony Robbins said, immerse into that kind of experience with this role model. Understand how he's thinking, how he's behaving, how he is feeling, or she, right? It's totally fine. Like women or like men. I love, by the way, Oprah Winfrey as well. I love her. But it's just like she's not so into business. That's why like she's great like a spiritual and also mentor and also emotional inspirational role model as well. But I want to find some role model who is also successful in the business, because I definitely want both influence but also success in the business, right? I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, so this is definitely an important part for me. And yeah, Oprah is very successful in the media area, and I want to find an entrepreneur more into like creating business in the coaching industry. So that's why I chose Tony Robbins. And so I'm definitely not just like biased for men, right? We do have more men, successful men in coaching industry, but I would say I mainly choose Tony Robbins because he has a pure heart. I always feel that he has a pure heart. Of course, he's not a perfect person, okay? He has many mistakes as well in his personal life, whatever people maybe point out. But overall, he's not perfect, but he's a great role model. Anyway, so get back to how we can be influential, just like your most admired role model. Okay, so really, like I mentioned, immerse into that kind of a connection. If they provide, your role model provide any kind of a teaching or training, invest into it. Okay, really become the student, learn whatever they could provide, and also not just beyond that, just follow them every day, learn from their inspirations, because they keep growing. Okay, a role model. That's why I want you to choose somebody who is still alive, not a past, okay, like a past great souls. That's all great. We can learn from their books, from their videos, but the best to find somebody is still alive, so you could observe either what kind of mistakes they may be making, and how they are keep growing, right? So this is like and for example, now the situation changes, how the world is changes, all these kind of conflicts, all these kind of like troubles, and how they are living that, like a pandemic's coming. And for example, I learned from Tony Robbins how he pivoted from the big challenge, and he canceled his all live events could not be hosted because of pandemic, and how he transformed, grow out of his old model of himself, like overcome himself to really create new business models and a new mindset, and to get a new model to teaching even more people, more millions of people, right? So that's the first thing, is find somebody you can still alive and inspire you. Okay, so now there are 3 strategies. I first want to share what the Tony Robbins shared with us, the top 3 strategies to become more influential just like himself. And then based on that, I would share more what I learned. My value here is like my inspirations and actions and how you could implement. Okay, so I would like today give you more than higher level of kind of a teaching. So Tony shared these 3 level. He normally focuses on higher level. Okay, so 3 strategies. First is use the best power of words. He's a big fan of using words. If you go to his big events, his languages, it's amazed. I could not imagine. He never went to college. He never graduated from went to college or graduated from college, right? So he did not have a even bachelor's degree, but his languages, I would say, wow, super powerful. It's like even PhD, right? Doctor's level could not compare with his, because what? He's not like a really genius on this part, but he's really learned. Keep learning, keep learning, keep practicing, keep practicing. That's why he said that repetition is the mother of skill. So he keep practicing it, and now he's amazing. His words. He also used some example when he started. He also used it. He's a person with with quite a big tempers as well. He could get into anger. He could be really pissed off. He could really get fierce about people who did the wrong things, who cheated him, stole his some money, especially at the beginning of his success. That's a big money for him, and he almost claimed bankruptcy. He used some bad words, right? Called those people enemy, want to kill them. But then he learned. His beauty is he's always so humble to learn from other people. He's like a sponge. Sponge keep absorbing other people's great things. So that some of his successful friends use different languages when they are into angry, right? But they will not use I'm angry, I want to kill somebody. They would say I'm pissed off. Those people would use extreme anger as pissed off, or something. Even say I'm also what's that words? I'm a little bit, even not in frustration, even not I'm inspired, or something I'm a little bit pissed off. I'm not words to relieve that kind of anger, but he's more inspiring on those positive words. So I know English is not my first language, so I had a big learning in this part. I remember when I was taking his coaching academy, we did one small exercise to write down inspirational, and not just inspirational, positive emotional words. Initially, I thought I could only write down maybe dozens, right, or 20 or 30. Initially, I could only think about that. And then I took that challenge to keep writing and keep thinking, keep reflecting. And guess what? Through that one exercise, I eventually wrote over 150 positive emotional words. Can you imagine that? And because initially I thought my vocabulary was so limited, right? But then once I opened that practice and get super inspired, I wrote something, and then I reflect and I get something more till I need to go to sleep. And when I was lying on the bed, I got some words, aha, like a light bulb, and I had to jump off my bed to write it down. Otherwise I will forget next day, right? So I had quite a few times of that. I got inspired, some a light bulb, I get new words. Okay, I jumped down my bed and write that down immediately. So that's amazing exercise. So now I have over 150. I could keep that kind of practice. But the more important is not just write it out, but it's really using those words. Use that words every day. So you could do this simple practice as well. Write down some positive emotional words. If you could not initially write that by yourself, search on a dictionary, search on the Google. Yeah, you could cheat. You could cheat, and you have great tools. You do not need always think from your own brain, right? You can learn immediately. Write those things down. Choose those words you initially, you especially resonate with and really get inspired, and use them, right? And I remember that's a part of practice for our speaking as well, for our coaching speaking as well, because there are so many people get to their filler words. I don't know if you, especially for people who are not so good at speaking at first, and especially when they are nervous, right? People will get some filler words. They keep using the same, for example, they say, oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful. Some people say, oh, that's wonderful, right? The same wonderful maybe used quite a few times. They did not realize or consciously catch that they are using this kind of filler words. Sometimes people may be using oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great, right? Something like that. I would like to remind you from now on, to observe yourself more when you are speaking. So now I need to do that more consciously as well, to catch yourself. Maybe you're repeating I remember some of those trainers when I was attending some like financial training, right? They are not like a motivational speaker, but when they are speaking, they are using so many yes, 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 that kind of filler words, and they did not realize that. But it's a little bit alluring when you are a listener to listen to that. So if you really want to have a great impact, speaking is even like normal communication is very important way to try to find those words, like maybe not especially like find the negative words first. That's the first layer. Get rid of negative words from your language, like those angry words or negative and emotional negative words, right? Get them out of your vocabulary, especially when you are feeling like, oh, you spoke something and you get regretted. You felt that could hurt somebody. And then write those words down and realize that these kind of words remind yourself, okay, then get conscious, you need to get rid of them. And the next level is get rid of those filler words, okay? And then the next level is really use those powerful, emotional, positive words more in your language, especially those words. I would say get to know your audience, right? Those words they would love to listen, and they are using many times often. That inspire them and adapt those words more. Okay, so that's the 3 levels of the words. And by the way, here is a quote from Tony Robbins. He mentioned, when it comes to language, words are really important because language produces emotion. Learn which words move you forward and pull you back. The words that pull you back, get rid of them. That's what Tony Robbins mentioned. So that's actually the first level, very basic level of get rid of those pulling you back kind of words. And then the next level you practice is really using those words that move you forward, that make you feel inspired, excited, energetic, and joyful, okay, and empowering. Those words. Okay, that's the first strategy. The second strategy Tony shared with us is really associate with influential people, right? How could it be a better influential to than being with those influential people, right? It's just like, for example, whenever I go to Tony Robbins events, I always share. It's not like on purpose share. I do want to share all those values, but it's like as a result, it can really generate great influence to other people, because especially when you are not that kind of level of influential yet, you could use those ones who you admire, your role models, use their quote, use their their events, use their inspirations to better teach other people, to inspire other people, right? And eventually till you can really gradually grow to that level. Okay, and the associate with influential people, and Tony created, actually, he used a word specifically. I remember quite some years ago, first time I learned that word, proximity. Not so many people use that. He's really like a PhD. He used that kind of word, proximity. Normally we would say networking or associate with those people, right? He would say proximity. But when you really learn that kind of a word, it's great, because that's like a atmosphere, right? It's like you create that kind of a echo system around yourself with those people in that system who are influential, so that you can become more influential. Like people normally say, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? So that's a key. Really, especially pay attention to those people you have a very close association. Are you very close with those successful people? Not just successful by money, but really successful by their influence, by their impact. Okay, so, and here I would like to say, okay, here I do not want just to share with you like a high level of strategies, but also like a practice. Whenever I learn from Tony, I would write down those strategies and further down and how to implement it. So like I mentioned earlier, that's the most important thing. Okay, so whatever you learn inspired, before you leave that site of inspiration, implement it right away, and at least write down a few, like at least 1 or 2 or 3, up to 3 actions you can take to implement that kind of inspiration. Okay, so for example, the language part for me is like I wrote down that slow down, listen more, watch my words, and consciously switch them with more positive, empowering, and transformative words. always show my gratitude and appreciation of people's good sides and strengths, so that my language could really express my gratitude and also appreciation, right? And especially really genuinely praise people, find their strengths, find their good side, and whatever they made good, and use the word that is encouraging, that is helping them find the positive side of themselves, and give them that strength and also faith and believe in themselves. So that's the first part to me on the language part, on the words part. The second one, social with influential people. My practice is I wrote down is refer to influential people words, stories, and best practice in my content. Research on their life and success in depth to share my inspirations, especially like for me myself is why I want to focus on Tony Robbins, because I really resonate with his message, his values, and then comment under the influencers their content and answer questions. People like Tony Robbins or Dean Grossassi or Oprah Winfrey, Russell Brunson, those successful thought leaders, they have a big communities, right? So many people, and often people may have some questions they ask, and may not necessarily get the answer. But if you found those questions are in your expertise and in your inspiration, answer them to contribute values. Okay, when you keep helping people and contribute values, that's where you can really generate influence. Because after all, that's what you want to do, right? That's what you want to help other people transform their lives. You want to contribute your values. And also another one is that the practice I wrote down is like networking with influential people. You know, not just networking, actually, it's like also investing. Here I should really add that one of my big part of my associate or like a network with influential people is really through investment. Because what's a better way than investing in their programs, their events, and to learn directly from them, other students, right? They are as your mentors to help you. So that's the best direct connection with them, and also the best first-hand learning from them. And then, if you have a great platform, either a podcast or YouTube, or maybe you have your communities, interview those influential people. That's a great almost you could say that's the great quick shortcut to. I know some people, they develop their platforms by interviewing different kind of influential people maybe at the beginning not at big levels, but at least the people have some impact or influence in their specific zone, and by interviewing them you expand your audience, and also you like lift up your own reputation. It's just like that's a similar strategy like seminars. When you can host your seminars, when you can connect and gather those experts in a specific zone, and you become an expert in that way, right? So that's one of the shortcut strategies. And now the third strategy Tony Robbins mentioned about is really get into the mind and the heart of your audience. Wow. Or in his ways, he said, get into your audience mind and heart. And to me, I'm adding one more layer. It's like get into my audience mind, heart, and soul. So this is super important. I just found that this is the biggest part of what differentiates Tony Robbins from others, from all other successful people. And he can really resonate and get into people. And he mentioned about that in his teaching. He said 80% are from psychology, 20% are skills. So that's only Tony. He's quite into, because he's over 45 years earlier than us into coaching. During that time, psychology is really almost foundation for any coaching. So that's why it's very popular. It's into almost, you can see that into him, and that's also why he could resonate and connect with his emotions, and about understanding human beings' basic needs. Like he mentioned, he has the 5 levels of basic needs and how to help them to fulfill. That's where he connect with people. And for us, it's really how to, here I wrote down some practice, how we could get into our audience mind and heart. And for me, it's even so, is listen more. Listening is definitely number one skills on what are our audience, their questions, especially their challenges, their pains, their problems, right? Every day, what they are most struggling with, and what caused them maybe could not even sleep well, or maybe even wake up in the morning, right? Or maybe in the darkness. And then the second part is surveys. Through survey or polls, you can really better understand people. You ask questions and people answer, or maybe they participate in your survey. You can see what's the trend, what's the majority people, and you can, that's like statistics. You can see different percentage of people what they are focusing on, or what they are bothered, or what they are top strategies, right? What they are concerned, what they are seeking to solve. Okay, and then based on that, have more conversations. Direct conversations are always the best way to learn your audience, right? So I set up some targets for myself. Every day I have a direct conversations with at least 3 to 5 prospects. Sometimes maybe they're not direct prospects, but if they get into your audience circle, it's built up using different ways, through your content, through your questions, through, your communities. Have that conversations to build up the direct understanding of what your audience or your potential clients are thinking and are desiring for and are struggling with. And then the next is like talk to my audience more frequently through the lives, like Facebook lives, and also through speaking gigs. And that's why from time I was accepting people's interviews by their podcasts or their YouTube channels, and to really get into that opportunities to reach to more audience and to use your message to touch her heart. And you need more practice, right? Like I said, repetition is the mother of skill. If you want to become a better speaker, you need to always start somewhere. I know many entrepreneurs have either camera shy or is just really nervous about public speaking. But you can use different ways, right, to really keep challenge yourself. And I know in the future I will should have more challenge based on the content challenge. I will have a speaking challenge as well to really encourage our entrepreneurs to participate more in speaking, because the speaking is really a quickest way, a direct way to bring your messages to more people, and then ideally to more of your potential clients, right? If your message is designed right. And then, but fundamentally, I just found Tony Robbins, he got into his audience mind and heart, not just because he learned psychology, or not just because he's a master of psychology. I just found the two fundamental ones. First, and these two ones is really not learned, actually. I would say it's really called and blessed. Like psychology you can learn, right? Strategies you can learn. But these two, you really need to have that calling, okay? You really need that kind of a being to have it. So number one is really be the authentic you. Be the authentic and genuine you. And that's why I love Tony Robbins. Whenever he's with his be like in front of the scene or behind the scene, he's the same person. He's a person with the true emotions and the wisdom, and always show it, and always genuinely to connect with people and to share whatever he has with that kind of integrity. Not the level of like a genuine being and connecting with people and showing with people and with that kind of integrity. Okay, 100% of fully integrity and responsibility for whatever you are doing. Okay, so be authentic you. That's the number one thing. And the second one is, I found is truly more important, is pour your heart, your mind, and your soul to help your people to be successful, to help them. I remember there's a famous quote, right? Not exactly like this way, but it said like when you can help, I think it's Zig Ziglar, right? When you can help enough people to become successful, and you meet enough people's needs, and your needs will be met, or you will become successful. So it's like if you are here pursuing only your own success, your own influence or impact, it's like for me. If you always like think about me, it's very difficult for you to become really successful and fulfilling. But when you are fully, this is a shift, okay? I hope you, if you have not made that before, I hope since today you can make this shift. Whatever you are passionate about, do not just passionate about what you want to do. passionate about them, the people who you want to help. Put them as your real reason, because they are the reason for you to here to use your gifts, all your gifts, to keep learning, to show up, and to keep challenging yourself, to fully be there, be yourself, to help. It's them, their success, their fulfillment, they're like empowering them to, like, for me, it's really empower those visionary entrepreneurs, life changers like you, to become the best version of yourself, to stand out as a confident expert and thought leader, to attract your ideal clients, to transform more lives, to make that impact you are called here to make in this world. That's become my why, the pure why. So instead, I remember many years ago, maybe I'm more focused on what I'm passionate about, this and that. It's like a me, right? And then through, I'm so, that's why I'm so thankful to Tony. Through years of learning from him, I already made that kind of shift years ago, from just a simple me impact to my growth and my contribution to this world, to the people I want to help. So pour your soul, your heart, your mind to help those other people to solve their problems and help them to get out of where they are, to reach what they desired, that you are called to help them to fulfill and to be successful. And that's the second one I want to mention. That's what can help you to connect with your, like, get into your audience, their mind, their heart, and even their soul. All right, so that's today's message. I hope it's inspiring to you. I hope you get a great aha moments. I would encourage you to comment under my video and let us know what's your aha moment, what's your the strategies you learned, and what's your the actions you want to take. Okay, remember, the best learning is really practicing and teaching it. So I would encourage you, and never leave the site of inspiration without implementing it. I would encourage you to write that down and implement it, at least one thing right away. Okay, and by the way, at the end I would encourage you, or also invite you to check out Abundance You Inner Circle. That's our annual program. We also have a 3 months of like a quick start program as well. Check that. That's where you can really learn how to become a truly influential, to use your gifts and your services to impact more people. All right, thank you so much, and we'll keep in touch, and we'll look forward to seeing your implementation and also your momentum shine through the week. Bye.